Don't worry about it, Erica. All right, take it away, Erica. Let me clean this up for you.
I like that the app went off again. That's nice.
Sorry.
Mark just likes applause. So, it has been a year since WWE Friday Night Smackdown came to Syfy, and it has been quite a successful one. The show is averaging over 3.1 million total viewers, and on October 14th, fun fact, they will be airing their 634th episode, which will oust Gunsmoke as the second longest running weekly episodic series in US history. Now, thanks, it's kind of exciting. Now to help me talk about SmackDown, I have the pride of Manchester, England, Wade Barrett, who rose up the ranks very quickly from NXT over to SmackDown. And the lovely Alicia Fox, who is not only a great diva, but started her career as a wedding planner. So guys, you have the costumes, you've got the moves, you do amazing things in the ring and outside of the rings for charities like Make-A-Wish. You're basically real-life superheroes. So my question for you is, if you could have an actual superpower, what would it be?
Do you want to go first?
Sure. I think my superpower would have to be teleporting. I would love to teleport from different sales racks from Macy's to Dillard's faster. I'm a shoe hoarder, like I said. So I would definitely have to teleport.
Wait.
Yeah, me personally, I think my favorite superhero growing up was a guy called Banana Man. I don't think he actually had him here in the States, but the premise of the show was a kid who ate a banana and suddenly turned into Banana Man. He could fly around the world and solve crimes. So I'd love to be able to eat bananas and be able to fly.
That's like a great promo for potassium. So Alicia.
Yes.
Wedding planner to diva. Can you take us through that journey?
Well, SmackDown, is like a show, so that was my character. That was how I entered the SmackDown brand, and then I shed that and turned into the Fox, Alicia Fox. So now I'm in the ring, strong competition, and that's...
And did the marriage last?
Oh, every marriage has its ups and downs. I'm sure they'll be fine.
And the downfall was you, right?
Okay, fine. Okay, yeah. I was the reason the wedding didn't work out, but, I really take pride in my job, so... I didn't think I did a pretty good job anyway.
She was smooching with the groom.
That's not true. That's really not how it went down, but kind of, yes.
There's actual televised footage of it, so yeah, I think that is how it went down. Actually.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm guilty. But I'm the victim.
And Wade, you had a really quick rise to stardom from NXT to SmackDown. You have some major events and championships under your belts. So the question is, how did it go so fast?
It's been a pretty crazy couple of years for me. I debuted with WWE, as you mentioned, on NXT less than 2 years ago. Since then, I won the NXT show, which was a show designed to introduce new WWE superstars to the world. So I won that show. I went on to headline several pay-per-views against guys like John Cena and Randy Orton, who are two of our biggest stars with the WWE. And currently having a great time on SmackDown on Syfy and loving every second of it. So it's been a very fast rise to fame for me, and hopefully it's going to continue a lot longer.
Cool. Now I will turn it over to you guys. Any questions?
What advice do you give to kids that want to join the wrestling world? Do you want them to start at a young age or wait until they're older?
I think the key thing we always tell kids who watch WWE is that what we do is a very dangerous thing. It shouldn't be imitated by kids at home. We always say don't try this at home. When you're watching us on TV, I know a lot of the things we do probably look like they don't hurt, but we're all highly trained. I've been performing now for over 8 years. I know Alicia's been going for probably 4 or 5 years. So we've been doing this a long time. We've had the best training in the world. And when it comes to the kind of moves and stunts that we do, we're almost like professional stuntmen in a sense, because the things we do are very dangerous. So we'd say to kids, definitely do not get involved at all. Don't try it with your friends or anything like that, because it is so dangerous. But the key thing, if you know, as a kid, I always wanted to be a WWE superstar. I grew up wanting to be one. The key thing is really to make sure you stay healthy. Get involved in as many sports as you can. I used to play a lot of soccer and a lot of rugby when I was growing up. Stay on a healthy diet, keep yourself in shape. And more importantly than anything else, I would say get yourself a very good education, because that will set you up in whatever walk of life you end up having success in. The amount of people who want to be WWE superstars is very high. The amount of people who can actually make it is very low. So you always need that backup plan. I'd say getting yourself a good education is the best backup plan you can ever have.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
I'm going to be honest here. I used to love the WWE. I watched it for 18 years, and I kind of stopped watching it a couple of years ago, and I really want to get back into it, but it's so intimidating because there's so many different storylines I need to follow. What are the key storylines that are going on right now? And why is everyone leaving Triple H?
Okay. Well, that really is the key storyline we've got going on at the moment. I think that's the biggest one. It's one where we've got Triple H, who has been a huge superstar in the WWE for the last 15 years or so. He's been a multi-time world champion. He's basically in the storyline anyway, he's the COO of the company, and he's been kind of controlling the ship for the last few months. Unfortunately, under his reign, things have gone downhill. There's a lot of fighting, there's a lot of chaos and controversy going on, and the WWE superstars are kind of banding together at the moment and looking to oust him. So that's the key storyline we've got going on at the moment. There's all sort of picketing going on and people breaking the picket lines and things like that. So that's our biggest storyline at the moment. But you're right, I mean, WWE always has several storylines going on at any one time, and I always suggest the easiest way to get into it is to watch maybe 2 or 3 episodes, and by that time you'll be hooked. It really is that simple to pick it up.
And then I have one follow-up question, which was, how has the wrestling style changed in the last few years? Because there was a real period where it was like ground-based, and then with WCW it became more aerial-based. Where is it at now?
I think we're always trying to reinvent something with WWE. We're always trying to give the viewers something new. And really, I think the key for us is that we try to offer as many different things as possible. So on an average show, you might see one match that's technical style of wrestling. You might see one match that's a high-flying style. You might see one that's a brawl. And so on and so forth, because we find that all of our fans tend to like something different. So our shows are almost like a variety show in the sense that we try and give each of our sections of fans what they're looking for. So you're really going to see a lot of variance on the show, and we find that our fans do respond well to that kind of approach.
Cool. Another question here.
Hi, you guys are on a network that has some really amazing shows. Would you want to guest star on any of the Syfy Network shows, and if so, which ones?
I'll let Alicia answer this one. I've talked your ears off already, I think.
I think it would be fun to play like the sibling of Lena from Warehouse 13. She seems pretty spicy, and I think that would be a good, accent to her piece. So I'd love to do that.
I've personally been quite impressed with the Alphas show. I think the kind of real-life superhero really identifies in a sense with what we do with WWE on SmackDown. I quite like the believability factor of it, the science behind what they're doing with their superpowers and stuff like that. So that's probably something I'd love to do.
Over the last couple of years, the WWE has changed networks a couple of times. How has it been on the Syfy network from both a WWE perspective and from just a talent perspective versus, your previous networks?
I think being on the Syfy network has definitely opened us up to a lot more fans. Obviously, as a company, we're looking to grow as much as we can. We're always looking to bring in new viewers and exploit new areas really in markets for us. And I think it's been great partnering with Syfy because they've allowed us to introduce a lot more viewers. The kind of cross promotion we've been doing with some of their shows. I know one of our superstars, Edge, has been on some of the Syfy shows in the past. And we're finding that we're getting a lot more viewers and a lot of new viewers getting introduced to the show just through being with Syfy. In terms of from a talent perspective, how it's changed, I don't really think it's changed too much for us in terms of us being on Syfy. I think our day-to-day job has very much stayed quite similar. It's just, like I say, the key benefit for us is just opening up new cross-sections of fans.
You mentioned being active and having a good diet before. What do you consider to be a good diet? Do you follow a special diet, or do you just do everything in moderation?
It very much depends on what your goals are. In WWE, one of the big goals is to make sure you look big and strong. It's a very aesthetic industry. We've got to look big and muscular and lean for the most part. There are a few exceptions to that. There's always the oddity kind of build that we have in WWE occasionally. But for the key part for us, we're looking to have a sort of a high protein diet because your muscles grow when you eat a lot of protein. We've got to be very careful with the amount of fats we eat, the amount of sugars that we eat, the kind of carbs that we eat, that sort of thing. And for someone like myself, I'm naturally a very skinny, very lean build, so I need to make sure I get a lot of calories. There's other people in the company who have bigger builds naturally, so they have to be a lot more careful with their diets and make sure they're going lower calorie and that sort of thing. But when it comes to kids, if we're speaking specifically about kids having good diets, I would definitely speak to a doctor or a nutritionist about that. I couldn't really give a child-specific advice. I just know in general, you want to make sure you get a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables, a lot of lean meats like fish and chicken and that sort of thing, a lot of fiber, and try and stay away from the sugars and the candies and the fats and the burgers and that sort of thing as much as you can.
Good afternoon. I just have a quick question. What is your dream match? And this goes to both of you. Whose ass do you want to kick?
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I think I would like to meet Vivica Fox in the ring because we share the same name, and I think her 15 minutes of fame is coming to an end. So it's time for a new Fox to step on the plate. So I would love to see Vivica Fox in the ring.
Personally, I would like to have a match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania. I think he really is the gold standard in terms of WWE. He's been around for so long. Since I was a little kid, I was watching him. I never believed when I was watching him back in the early 90s that one day I would be sharing an arena or sharing a locker room with him. So he really is the guy that I think everybody at the moment is wanting to face. I think his career is probably winding down now. I'm not sure how much longer, how many more years he's going to perform for. So time is probably running out in terms of the amount of time I've got to step in the ring with him. So certainly before he does retire, when he does retire eventually, I'd love to have a match with him.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Alicia, I know you are really into fashion. Do you collaborate on your costumes on the show?
Oh, yes. I really take pride in my costumes. I really get a lot of inspiration from like the European fashion magazines. I'll take a little bit from like Roberto Cavalli or like here and there, mix it up, design my own thing. So I love fashion because it's like a good expression of personality. And everyone can see, oh, okay, you must have been feeling super spicy today because you're wearing red or whatever color. So I love fashion and I love bringing it into the ring too. And same with all the other girls. They all take pride in like looking good, who has the most rhinestones, which fabric's lighter to roll around in, what won't fall off. Like our Divas of Doom, they have these new shoulder pads that have spikes. So it's really cool because it also gives like our female viewers like a way to relate too, other than just like our physical action in the ring. I mean, what girl doesn't like clothes, right? You guys love clothes, I know you do. But so that's the best part to me.
My question is for Alicia mostly, but you could both answer. What was the initial attraction that you had to wrestling? Like, as you know, as a female, I mean, there's been females for a long time involved in wrestling, but what was the initial thing that made you say, I have to be a wrestler?
Well, actually, growing up, I was always a tomboy. Like, never wore dresses, never did anything. I played a lot of sports. And so when this opportunity came, I kind of thought it was like the perfect combination of like womanhood, strong, independent role models in style. So it was just, that's what, and an adventure. That's what attracted me to this job. So, yeah. So far, so good.
It's probably a similar story with me too. I discovered WWE when I was 9 or 10 years old, living in England, and I remember watching it for the first time, and being a kid from the north of England, I'd never seen physiques or human beings look like the WWE superstars did, with their tans and their muscles and their long hair and everything. They just looked like the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And really for probably 5 or 6 years, until I was maybe 15 or 16, I never actually associated what I was watching on TV with them being real people. It's only when I got to, I think, 16 or 17 years old, I read a couple of autobiographies, and it really outlined to me how much these were just real people. They were just normal people. And up until that point, I kind of saw them as superheroes and didn't associate them with having a normal life or going to the shop or doing normal things that you or I might do. And it was really at that point that I decided, wow, if this is just normal people who've just been through school and college and had the same problems growing up that I've done, there's no reason why I couldn't do it. And that was the moment, the spark really, that made me think, right, I really want to give this a go and try and become a WWE superstar.
Okay, one more question.
In your opinion, then, looking back on all of that, who's been the biggest WWE wrestling star of all time? Who has been the one that has stood out, that everybody knows and everybody remembers?
Do you want to go first?
You go first.
Okay. If we're talking about the biggest star of all time, in my opinion, I would say it's The Rock, who's obviously going to be involved with WWE in the upcoming months. He's going to be involved in our Survivor Series pay-per-view. He's also going to be involved in WrestleMania 28, where he's taking on John Cena. He's a guy who was a huge star in the mid to late 90s. He then went on, he's had a great career in Hollywood, and he's still coming back and being involved with us now. He's a household name. People around the world know who he is. People who don't even watch WWE know who The Rock is. So in my opinion, he's the biggest star of all time to have come from WWE.
I would have to say Beth Phoenix, and she's kind of like a current WWE diva I think she's getting her name out there pretty fast, but not just so much as in the ring, but outside the ring. She's a great role model to us divas, and we really look up to her, and she really like when I first started, I had no wrestling experience whatsoever. She came and picked me up from the airport. She kind of gave me like the down low for this is this, don't date the boys, don't do this, don't do that, and so she's really been an inspiration for me, and I know there's a lot of my fellow divas that feel the same way, so I'd have to say Beth Phoenix.
Cool. Well, thank you guys very much.
No problem. Thank you very much for your time.
They will be over here now.
Thank you.